You ever have that feeling? You know, that little nagging voice in your head that says, you're just treading water, that you're working harder than ever, but it's just to survive, not really to live? Well, let's get into it because for a whole lot of Americans, this feeling isn't just a mood, it's becoming the new reality. I mean, it all starts with the basics, right? Take housing. For so many people, the price tag on a place to live just feels completely disconnected from what they actually earn. And this isn't some rare one-off story. This is the kind of math people are doing every single day. And it's not just about rent. It's about the other absolute necessities. You know, that whole idea that if you work hard, you'll be taken care of, that you'll have things like healthcare. Well, for a lot of folks, that promise feels, well, it feels broken. It's gotten to the point where even keeping the lights on or just staying cool in the summer is becoming a luxury. People are literally making choices between paying a bill and being comfortable in their own homes. And this, right here, this is the fear that connects everything. The worry that this constant struggle isn't just a rough patch, and it's not some personal failure. It's the new, shared experience for the average person. So let's move past the feeling and look at the actual numbers behind the squeeze, because this isn't just an emotional thing, it's a mathematical reality, and some of the data is pretty startling. Okay, let's start with rent. So check this out. $2,649, that's a real monthly renewal offer for a tiny studio in Chicago. We're talking about a space that's smaller than a two-car garage for a price that not too long ago could have gotten you a pretty nice family apartment. And if you think owning a home is the escape hatch, well, think again. This number, that's a real monthly mortgage payment for a regular family home in California. That's over 60 grand a year just for the roof over your head. And of course, it's not just housing. Basic utilities are just soaring. This is an actual power bill from someone in Georgia. People are watching their bills double, sometimes even triple, without using any more electricity. It's wild. And when you boil all those big numbers down, this is what it looks like in real life. It's this constant, high-stakes balancing act, a stressful calculation where there's just no room for error, and you're forced to choose between one essential and another. So what do you do when the traditional options are just off the table? Well, people get creative. But as you're about to see, a lot of this creativity isn't about choice. It's about desperation. Take van life. You've seen it all over social media, right? It looks like this amazing adventure, all about freedom and a certain vibe. But the reality for a growing number of people has nothing to do with the vibe. It's a last resort, a direct result of the housing crisis. And this is not a list of cool, scenic places to park for the night. This is a survival guide. It's all about stealth camping, finding places where you can just blend in, where you won't get hassled, and you can just exist for a few hours without being seen as a problem. And it's so important to understand this concept of hidden homelessness, because a lot of people in this situation don't look like what we might picture when we hear that word. They're couch surfing or living out of their car, which means the true scale of the problem is probably way bigger than we think. And here's another adaptation that's popping up. People living full-time in hotels. It might sound strange, but for some, it's a way around needing a perfect credit score, a huge security deposit, and all those separate utility bills. It's one predictable cost in a world that feels really unpredictable. We're also seeing this huge cultural shift. I mean, for a long time, moving back home was seen as a step back, right? But now it's being reframed. It's seen as a smart, practical way to pool your resources and actually build some stability. It's the new flex. Okay, so people are finding ways to adapt. But what happens when the system itself seems to be working against you? When you do everything you're supposed to do and it's still not enough? Seriously, just let that one sink in for a second. This person is, by any standard we've ever known, the perfect applicant. We're talking high income, a nearly perfect credit score, and they still got denied. It shows you that the goalposts haven't just moved. For some people, they're gone. And this is why. It's become this impossible trap. You have to earn 3 times a rent that's already sky high. You need a perfect credit score and an economy that basically pushes you into debt. And if you've had just one stumble in the past, like an eviction, you can be locked out of the whole system. And let's say you do manage to jump through all those hoops. The prize waiting for you isn't always so great. People are paying top dollar to tour places that are falling apart, these so-called trap houses, all because the demand for any kind of housing is just that intense. And then, for those who fall all the way through the cracks,
society's response is often not help, but hostility. The very act of not having a permanent address is being treated like a crime in more and more places. It just adds another impossible layer of difficulty to an already impossible situation.
So, after all of that, where does this leave people? What's the real human cost of living in a world where that basic promise of a stable life just feels like it's slipping away? And I think this quote just absolutely nails it. That feeling of burnout so many people have, it's not a personal failing. It's a totally rational reaction to trying to survive in a system that's demanding way too much. It's a sign that the life you were told you should want just doesn't fit anymore.
And that really leaves us with this one fundamental question. The American dream, the definition of success, it's always been changing. But after everything we've just looked at, what does it truly mean to make it now? And maybe more importantly, is that still even possible for the average person?